Good afternoon, Chairman Lopez and Gresco, Vice Chairs Hockadell and Palm, Ranking Members Harding and Callahan, and the other distinguished members of the Environment Committee. I am here in support of SB 1148, SB 1149, and HB 5214. However, I will be spending my time speaking on SB 1148. Being a long-term resident of Avon, I have seen firsthand the negative effects of the increasing black bear population. Black bear populations continue to grow, causing detrimental damages to agricultural crops, livestock, domesticated animals, and human inhabited areas. It has been made clear that although reasonable measures have been taken place over the past decade to prevent these issues, little to no progress has been made, as populations have only increased and become more vested in areas inhabited by humans. SB 1148's purpose is to solve a prevalent and ever-growing issue that affects not only the safety of the people of Litchfield County, but many of their livelihoods as well. The concern for bears in this country cannot be at the expense of the residents in these communities who deal with the consequences, myself being one of them. Among many other things, this bill sets out to have limited hunting season that is strongly regulated by DEEP and ensures that they have an authority to oversee, regulate, and limit the number of bears taken to 50 accidental bear deaths being included in this cap. In addition, as a state, we have to take into account that we are the only state in the Northeast with a sizable bear population that does not allow hunting. With DEEP officials currently regulating many other limited hunting seasons, including but not limited to deer, rabbit, woodchuck, turkey, and fox, it only makes sense to add black bear to the list and trust that they have been capable of regulating a limited hunting season that doesn't wipe out the entire population. As a senator, I have heard from countless constituents in the 8th that have experienced or continue to experience the horrible consequences of this population overgrowth and have been implored by them to do something about it. I will now yield the rest of my time to Senator Martin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Very quickly, this debate has been going on regarding the bear bill for many years. I've been up here 8 years, and I think every year we've addressed this. In October of 2022 in Morris, you all heard, a 250-pound bear grabbed a 10-year-old boy's leg and tried to carry him off. And if it wasn't for his grandfather and a neighbor who courageously warded off the bear, who knows what would have happened to that child. So simply, we need to establish a bear hunting season. Because of the overpopulation, farm animals have been killed, homes have been invaded, as well as cars have been broken into. And in my district, in Harlington, a motorcyclist was killed because of a collision with a black bear. There has been bears in my backyard. I've lived in Bristol all my life, and for 40 years. In 2 different homes, bears in my backyard, my neighbor's backyard, and the most recent, where my other home that I've moved into 8 years ago, a bear went to the back patio sliding glass door where my 87-year-old mother lives, just like walking right across. I also received a phone call from a constituent who lives 60,000 people in Bristol, who lives on the other side of Bristol, and he called me and emailed me to say, Senator, you really need to do something.
If you can summarize,
Sure.
You're going to get a question. So
Great, thank you. What do we need to do to make sure we have bear hunting here before somebody gets hurt? There's a term, anthropomorphism. And the definition of that is the attribution of human characteristics or behavior on animals or objects. Simply, we make these animals look like they're Yogi Bear or Winnie the Pooh. Listen, we are talking about black bears that are becoming more and more dangerous to us humans. It's time to establish this bear hunting season bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any comments or questions? Senator Harding.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you both senators for coming and testifying. I think your testimony was very much in line with what we're looking to figure out today in terms of bear management here in the state. For Lisa, Senator Seminara, you stated you have heard from constituents regarding this issue. Can you recall a specific constituent that you may have spoken with about this?
I can recall many and an experience of my own, so if you'll indulge me, I'll just let you know what they are. So the day that I was sworn in here, I received a call from a constituent that there was a bear underneath her front steps. She has 2 children. She had called Deep and asked Deep to come out and remove the bear, and they said they couldn't, they didn't have time, that she should purchase bear spray and try to eliminate the bear from underneath the porch herself. I absolutely directed her against that. I called I called Deep on her behalf and was able to get them out there, and the bear was extracted. However, before it was extracted, she did tell me that it was hibernation season when the bear could have been underneath and hibernating, but every time it was garbage day, that bear came out. So the bear was not hibernating. It was active and awake. Also, in Colebrook, a farmer told me that he lost his entire crop due to the bear. He had a crop sectioned off and tried to put proper precautions around it. The bear broke through it, and his entire crop was unusable. Countless constituents have told me of the loss of their domestic animals. And I too had my own experience in my own yard. I have a gazebo that's quite far away from the house. I was sitting on the gazebo with my little nieces and nephews, and a bear came over my fence, let's say, and was between us and the house. There was nothing I could do. I had nothing. I was petrified. I was petrified for their lives. Fortunately, nothing happened. But as the good Senator Martin here said, what are we going to do? Wait until somebody is actually killed before we do something about this bear population? Thank you.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, thank you, Senator, for that answer. Senator Martin, if I may, through you, Mr. Chair, it's a question about, I know you put in your own Sunday hunting proposal would you mind elaborating on what your intent is there and what your proposal was and what you might like to see in ultimately what gets drafted and voted out of committee here?
Yes, I've was approached by a few different constituents, one of which is works for the state in the park system and the forestry system, and made a comment regarding her inability of being able to hunt on Sundays, as well as the other constituents saying, you know, we work during the week, we can't take time off, and Saturday and Sunday. That leaves me only a Saturday to, to hunt. So pretty much, the hunting season is very short. So, it's a blue law from what I've learned, and I am not a hunter, but from what I've told, it's a blue law. It's been around for years, and actually, and I think in my testimony that's submitted regarding that bill, it's it was a blue law because they wanted people to go to church on Sunday, so they prohibited it. So if it is a blue law, maybe it's time to get rid of it. And I know we're taking a step here regarding allowing the hunters, should we allow it to hunt on Sundays on private property? But there's a ton of public land out there as well. So, but nonetheless, you two one step at a time. And regarding some of the migration of the bears a little bit, and I heard this again. I am not a hunter, but can I just do this? I'm told that the reason why Massachusetts has less conflicts between the bears is because they have allowed hunting from the bears. And it's the noise of the guns that scares them away from humans. Maybe that's why we have more conflicts here in Connecticut. So,
Senator, thank you very much.
okay. Oh,
Representative Reddington Hughes.
I just have a quick question for both senators. I know that there's been a lot of back and forth with the SB 1148 with, whether or not the hunting is an appropriate part of this bill, that some folks think that taking in your bird feeders and locking down your garbage can is going to solve everything. My question is, in the event that the hunting part is not part of this bill, do you think that this bear management plan will go anywhere?
Thank you, Rep, for the question. I just wanted to let you know, I received an email today about this. My concern is that the email said something along the lines that I saw that there's a bear bill and there's a non-feeding bill for birds. And the gentleman said, I think it was a gentleman, said, I will continue feeding my birds. I will continue doing these things. I don't want to attract the bear population, but I will continue. So my point is this: if we do not enact the hunt, I know there is the thought that taking away the food is going to solve the problem or maybe significantly decrease the problem. But you are always going to have outliers who, despite what we ask them to do, or even if we put it into law, will do differently. So that's my answer to that question.
I would agree with that. I think that we can educate all we want, and yes, most people, and I believe most have already done that, but we still have a growing population in our state of Connecticut of these bears.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And wrap it up, Representative O'Day.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to thank both senators for coming and testifying. We are going to have a tragedy in Connecticut if we don't address the bear incursion problem. And I really do thank both of you coming out and testifying here before all of us and trying to highlight this issue in support of 1148. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative O'Day. Thank you, senators, for your patience. Thank you. Next.